Those links and keeping them updated, those are going to be the calls to action for people to, take this offline, if you will. If they find your podcast, they resonate with the content, they feel it's super valuable, what do they do after that?
Hey there! Are you an entrepreneur looking to start, launch, or grow a podcast? If you said yes, I am so happy you're here. I'm Kristen, a video and podcast producer and CEO of Novice Studios, a production company for podcasters. I help business owners launch and grow their podcasts to serve their audience, build community, and boost sales. I hope you'll subscribe to our show so we can help your show grow from novice to noteworthy.
Hello, and welcome to the Novice to Noteworthy podcast. This is a test of doing a live stream format for a podcast. I have a new mic setup that I'm testing out. So, we're going to be looking at a couple different things in this live stream as a part of this episode. But I wanted to see if I could find a way to make it easier for my clients to pick up and hit record. So, instead of doing the full, separate camera setup, getting the microphone out, getting the background perfect and all the things, and then, sending it off all the pieces to be edited. I am testing out for the video version. What if we could take some of that guesswork, some of that initial prep work out of it and just start with a live stream? So, that's what I'm testing out in this episode. Hopefully the audio's coming through okay. Hopefully the video looks okay. This is not my most aesthetic setup that I've ever done for the podcast, but I wanted to test this out as a way to see if we could make this process a little bit more smooth. And it's relevant to the topic because today I'm going to be talking about how to optimize your YouTube channel to grow your podcast. So I really want to focus this month on speaking to the YouTube side of things. As a podcast production company, my company, Novice Studios, is known for and specializes in YouTube optimization. So we do full service video podcast production. And I wanted to share some of the things that we've been doing for our clients that have been helping them to grow their YouTube channel that sometimes translates to downloads, but really it just helps bring more awareness to their podcast as a whole. It helps them grow their YouTube channels, and if their full length podcasts are on there, we count those as the overall viewership and reach of your podcast. So in this episode I'm going to share some of those tips and tricks. So first things first, if you are not posting a video version, like a proper video version of your podcast to YouTube, that needs to be like step one, first priority. So if you are just posting the audio only with a graphic, maybe there's like a waveform animation in the background, that definitely is something that's better than nothing. It's still going to allow you to leverage SEO. It's still going to let you build a presence on YouTube and to show up on YouTube Music, but it's not going to get that same engagement and you're not going to see as much growth. We have seen some surprising things happen with our clients that have done this, but I definitely feel like if you are doing a dedicated video version of your podcast, you have more assets that you can repurpose into clips to post on LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram, wherever you're promoting your podcast. So there's really only benefits to having a video version of your show where people can see your face and read your facial expressions and all the things, right? So that's the first thing is we need to get a dedicated video version, even if you're doing what I'm doing and doing a live stream on YouTube and then taking that and then editing a more polished version to upload to your actual RSS feed as a podcast episode so that there's your musical intro and outro and all those things. Any ads that you might have, sponsorships, are edited into it after the fact. And you can also cut out like any flubs or things that maybe you didn't like that you said in the live stream or what have you. So that is an option, but having a video presence on YouTube is the first priority. The next thing that I want to talk about is organizing your playlists and how your videos are actually appearing on your YouTube channel. So, when I first sit down with a client, maybe they've had a YouTube channel set up for a while, they've been uploading video versions of their podcast or just uploading videos here and there. The first thing that I usually notice is that There's a couple things. One is they just have one quote unquote playlist that is just all the videos that they've ever uploaded to the channel. They're not organized in any particular way. The audience member or whoever is just landing on your channel can sort those videos by, recently uploaded, oldest to newest, or they can, I think, organize them by most popular episodes and have those videos be at the top of the list. But other than that, if you have a ton of content for people to sift through, and if your content isn't properly titled, and doesn't really let the listener, the viewer know which one to click on first, it can be an overwhelming experience and then you lose people. So, what I recommend to do instead is to sort your videos into curated playlists. And there's a few different ways that you could do this. The number one way that I would recommend is to sort them by your content themes. So you should have content themes. I have another episode about this, and I'm going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into choosing your content themes next month. But definitely make sure that you are creating that choose your own adventure for your viewers. So, for me as a podcast producer, if for my podcast about podcasts, maybe I have a playlist that's just dedicated to YouTube. Maybe I have a playlist and growing on YouTube specifically. We also want to be intentional about how we've named those playlists so that they are highly searchable in and of themselves. Like, don't just do one word. So, growing your YouTube channel or optimizing your YouTube channel might be the name of that playlist. Then I might have another playlist that's all about interview skills or content planning. Like, I'm going to sort all the different episodes that I have into these different categories. So if somebody lands on my channel, they can really quickly sort through. Maybe they're a podcaster, but they could have all kinds of different questions, right? But maybe the number one thing on their mind is like, how do I grow my YouTube channel as a podcaster? Like, I'm looking for that specific content. Then they know that they can go to that playlist first and check that out. And then if they're like, yes, this content's super relevant to me, hopefully they subscribe. But if not, they at least know who I am. They know that my content's valuable, and the YouTube algorithm will likely serve them more of my videos in the future. So definitely making sure that they have the opportunity to choose their own adventure, instead of just going through your videos chronologically. Another thing that you want to do on your YouTube channel is to make sure your channel trailer is updated. So you can choose an intro or about video if you have like a speaker reel or something like that that might showcase some of the topics that people can expect to find on your YouTube channel. Or you can put your most popular video as your YouTube channel trailer if it is relevant to your ideal listener. So if you have a video that absolutely blew up, but it has nothing to do with who you serve or the types of listeners or the types of content that you want to be producing moving forward, it probably doesn't make sense for that to be your channel trailer. So just choose something that represents who you are, who you're speaking to, and what people can expect from your YouTube channel. Another thing is there's going to be a for you section at the very top of your YouTube channel right under your trailer, and that is YouTube's way of recommending preferred content based on what the viewers have watched. Like, whoever is landing on your channel, it's going to show them your videos that they would like best based on their search history, the content that they've engaged with on YouTube the most. And that is awesome that YouTube does that, because hopefully it's going to show them your videos that are going to like perk up their ears the most and get them to subscribe. So I don't know if you have the option of moving that around on the actual YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's automated, like it's set where it is. But if you can change it, I think I would just still leave that at the top because it's a great way to leverage YouTube's algorithm in your favor for once. Everybody always talks about how the YouTube algorithm is, it's fighting us all, and I think that there's pros and cons to everything, and I think different content creators are struggling with, how to differentiate their content on an ever-growing platform, right? But I think that leverage it where it's trying to help you. The next thing is to make sure that you have your podcast set up in YouTube Studio. So, even if you have a playlist that is designated as like your full-length podcast episodes, That doesn't mean that you are designated as a podcast automatically. And the reason that we want to make that distinction is one, if you are designating your playlist as a podcast, then you will show up in YouTube Music, which is an actual podcast listening platform. And so it's just another platform to gain more visibility. But then also, I think that there's going to be opportunities to for YouTube to support people who are designating their shows as podcasts on the platform. They're rolling out more features in the future. I think it's going to be interesting to see like what they've got up, up their sleeves in terms of podcasting, but in order to do that, if you go to the content section of YouTube Studio, click on the podcast tab at the top of the page and then click create a podcast. And again, if you've already been uploading episodes to a podcast playlist, then you can, select, I think like choose a playlist to become a podcast. Then, it's going to do the rest for you once you make that designation. And then all you have to do when you upload future episodes is just keep checking that playlist as the box, right? You can also connect your RSS feed. So if you've just started uploading video episodes, but you have this whole backlog of episodes that are audio only, you can actually import those into YouTube Studio if you connect your RSS feed. And the great thing about this is it will let you select like the start or end date of, which episodes you want to import. So you can have it upload all the way through when you started uploading video episodes, and then the rest will just be whatever you've uploaded to YouTube. So definitely check that out. And I will put a link to the YouTube, support help documentation that explains the whole podcast designation process. But I still think it's a great way to set your show apart, if you will. You also have an added benefit of in the analytics section, it will separate out your podcast views from your overall channel views. So it will count the podcast views towards your overall channel views, but it will have a separate section where you can click and just look at the analytics for those podcast episodes without having to like manually sort through them, which is great because we're going to get to other types of videos that you can upload to your YouTube channel in addition to just the full length episodes. So this is going to be a great way to separate, okay, these are the numbers that I would count towards my total like podcast viewership or downloads, whatever you want to call it. But then these other views from the clips, I'm not like inflating my download numbers with those. The next thing is updating your channel summary and your links, relevant links. This is crucial because number one, your summary allows you to leverage more keywords to get found in not only YouTube search, but also Google search. But also, those links and keeping them updated, those are going to be the calls to action for people to, take this offline, if you will. If they find your podcast, they resonate with the content, they feel it's super valuable, what do they do after that? So, keeping that updated with the links to book a discovery call with you if that's part of your sales process, or to go to your latest membership offer or your latest course that you're launching, or whatever that might be, make sure that those links stay updated as things change. Maybe you change, the name of the LinkedIn page, the name of your business, all of those things. Like those are live changing things as we grow our businesses, right? So you want to make sure that that's as up to date as possible. And you want to make sure that that summary includes who you are, what problems you're solving with your content, and who might benefit from watching your content. So we want to directly call people in who are going to benefit from watching our YouTube channel. And if you have a product, a service, any call to action for people to take after they find you on YouTube, you want to make sure that that's included here. And you can include links in the summary itself, like include the full URL to whatever website you want to send them to, in addition to the actual 5 links I want to say that it gives you that you can, pre populate. The links in that section pop up in your YouTube channel banner as little buttons that people can click. So I think for those, I would definitely prioritize your podcast itself. If the goal of this YouTube channel is to send people to the audio podcast, then include the link to Apple or Spotify or wherever your people are listening the most. But definitely include the link to your website, your scheduling link to book a call with you, like however you want people to connect, your Instagram, your LinkedIn page, whatever is relevant to you, make sure that's updated there. Next, you want to use your channel keywords and automated video tags. So, I'm going to talk a little bit more in another episode about automating your upload process. But for this specifically, you want to make sure that you have updated in YouTube Studio. Click on the settings icon in the bottom left corner and then go to the channel tab. And then here you can add keywords to help people find your channel. So, this is going to help you get found in YouTube search for whatever the relevant topics are that you're doing. So, we put so much work into individual videos, and those are definitely important, but we want to make sure that we're helping people find the actual channel as well, especially because what I've found with my clients posting shorts is that YouTube shorts are great for like getting views and getting overall visibility and just getting in front of more people on the platform. But ultimately, they don't convert subscribers, at least not nearly as much as the, regular longer than 60-second videos. But what we do see when we post a lot of shorts is an increase in the subscribers that are from our channel page. And so my theory about that is that people might find us from the shorts feed or find my clients in the shorts feed, and then land on the channel and then see if it is relevant to them. And this is, more speaking to making sure that your channel is organized, making sure that your summary is up to date, making sure that channel trailer is effective and speaks directly to the person that you're trying to reach. But if you can, get the channel keywords, those are going to be how people find your channel in the first place. So you've done all this great work to organize your channel, sort everything into playlists, update your summary, get the right links in the right places, all those things. Now you want to get people to actually land on your channel, and that's where those channel keywords come in addition to the default video tag. So for channel keywords, you want to make sure that the keywords include your name, as much of your full name as people know to search for you by. Like if people know, like, okay, I know Kristen's starting a podcast or Kristen's starting a business, like I want to follow and support, or I know that she's talking about podcasting and I want to start a podcast, I would put my full name, Kristen Stegall, in my channel keywords because I'm the face of the business, I'm the face of the channel. It makes sense for me to be in there. So if people are searching for me for whatever reason, they find my content. Next, you want to make sure you include your business name. And one way that you can leverage tags is if you have a commonly like misspelled, business name or certain words. I know sometimes people will use like acronyms or shortened versions of a full word in their business, things like that. So you might want to include the different iterations of how somebody might type in your name if they just heard it or they're not sure how to spell it. The keywords are like the channel keywords are a good place to do that. Also, including your podcast title, of course, and then your role. So, for me, that would be podcast producer, podcast management, podcast production. I could also do video podcast producer, like whatever is relevant to who you are and what you do. So, if people are searching for that service or searching for information from, somebody who fits one of those roles, then they're more likely to land on your channel. Also including the what of what you do. So for me, video podcast production, YouTube optimization, YouTube for podcasters. And it was as I was outlining this episode, I'm like also adding these to my own channel keywords because I'm like, oh, actually, these are good as I'm thinking about this. For me to be podcast for marketing, podcasting tips. I mean, there's so many things, but again, all the different ways that somebody might search for that particular thing to land on that content. You want to include it here up to the character limit. And then also where. So if where you're located matters for your business, I know a lot of online businesses tend to be, remote or virtual in nature. So it doesn't really matter where you're based, and you might work with people all over the country or all over the world, whatever that looks like. But, for me, we work with a lot of clients here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm going to include that in my channel keywords as well. So if somebody's searching for podcast production in Charlotte, North Carolina, hopefully they find me. That brings us to YouTube Shorts. So I spoke a little bit to the conversion that we're seeing with Shorts, but I do think they are so useful for getting more visibility, and it's always good on platforms where you know you're going to be putting a lot of time and energy to truly leverage every feature available to you on that platform. So YouTube is heavily pushing shorts. They're competing with TikTok. I know that every platform is kind of blending into each other. The good thing about that is that you can repurpose things as YouTube shorts. So even if, as long as it's relevant to your podcast content, even if it's not a clip from your podcast and it's under 90 seconds, or sorry, under 60 seconds, then it's still worth uploading as a YouTube short with an optimized title to gain that visibility. So again, they don't convert a ton of new subscribers, but they bring new eyes to the channel. And then when they see all these other steps that you've taken to optimize it and speak directly to them, that's when we see those subscribers start rolling in. Then there's podcast clips. So, one thing that we've been doing for a couple of our clients that has been really successful in viewership and subscriber conversion is segmenting out from a full length podcast episode 3 to 5 minute long podcast clips that allow us to test out different titles, call out certain moments of the podcast, and just, build more content for people to look forward to. We can talk about average view durations in a different episode. That is like a whole thing in and of itself. But we know that people usually don't watch for very long on YouTube. So when we segment out these clips, it can feel to some people that, you're just putting the same thing out there that you've already posted, but a lot of the times people might not make it, halfway through the episode. They might not make it even 25% through the episode. So this is pulling out segments that people might have missed if they just clicked on the initial video and then they got busy, they closed the tab, they forgot, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're able to put the content back in front of them and like get them back engaged with it. But then also we get to play with those different titles for SEO optimization. So if there's any keywords that didn't make sense to include in the full podcast episode title or that we, couldn't fit in there in some way shape or form, the clips give us an opportunity to do that. For example, if your podcast is titled something like, I don't know, optimize your YouTube channel to grow your podcast. I might pull segments from this episode and then post them with titles like, do YouTube shorts really bring in new subscribers? And that's a juicy one because the answer is like, kind of. Or how playlists help your YouTube channel grow. So it gives me the opportunity to pull in other things that people might be searching for and, leverage those. It doesn't really, I could add a tail to the main title with all those things like YouTube Shorts, playlists, da 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 da. But really, I think that how to optimize your YouTube channel to grow your podcast is strong enough by itself. We're not distracting, we're not giving too much away. It's just like it's a good title. That is how to optimize your YouTube channel to grow your podcast. There is so much more that I can speak to. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on watching live streams. Do you enjoy watching live streams? Do you prefer the more polished, finished edit of an episode? I do want to say that if you are an established podcaster, meaning you have at least 30 episodes published and you want help to create and optimize your channel, to grow your podcast, I would love for you to check out our service, the Media Makeover. So, that service is one of my absolute favorite offers. Every time that we've done one for a client, it's so much work that we put into it, but it is so rewarding to connect all the dots of, as a podcast host, you're putting so much time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into this podcast. And we are taking the foundation that you build and just helping to connect some of those dots. We go back and re title your episodes to help you get found if you already have been putting out all this great content, but people aren't finding it because the titles aren't that great. We do a full audit of your content. We redesign your cover art. We rebrand your podcast. We, set up your YouTube channel if you don't already have one, or we go in and optimized for you, an existing YouTube channel that you're using to grow your podcast. So it is a very, very robust service that we offer. And if that sounds like it is making you feel excited to grow your podcast, then definitely go to the link in my show notes, novicestudiosclt.com/media makeover, to learn more about that service and to book a discovery call with me. And we get to chat at that point to see if we would be a good fit to work together and if this service is aligned with, your goals and what you're trying to do with your show. So thank you so much for watching this live stream. If you watch the whole thing, I would love for you to comment like a bunch of podcast microphones or something down below. Or if you're listening to this on audio only, head over to the YouTube channel to check out the video version, or, come see me on Instagram at Novice Studios CLT. And I will see you guys in a future episode.
That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Written reviews are incredible, but even a quick 5-star review is so helpful for our show. You can also rate us on Spotify. If you listen over there, you can give us 5 stars over there as well. Be sure to follow us over on Instagram and YouTube at Novice Studios CLT, and share the show with a fellow podcaster to spread the word. See you next time.